Welcome to Dave D's Random Watch, and today is Random Watch Select. And a couple episodes back, I talked about Finding Neverland. Well, that movie left you so happy, so it was an uplifting movie. So when we had everybody here, we decided to watch Hook and 4K. So it's like watching it for the first time. Hook. I never saw it in a theater. I really wish I did, but whatever. I didn't. I couldn't tell you where I saw it. I do seem to remember that maybe step grandparents' house in Ohio back in '91, maybe. But I do remember that's where I got the toy line. They had the toys, so Hook had a toy line. God, I didn't get them all, but I got the essentials, I remember, for my birthday. And, that's what I thought of that movie. And I've seen it on and off throughout the years. I don't remember if I had the VHS copy, but I had the DVD copy. Bypassed Blu-ray and just recently got the 4K. The movie is if Peter Pan has grown up. So it's a sequel to Peter Pan unofficially, and is in a way that almost like Return to Oz is an unofficial sequel to The Wizard of Oz. So you have the elements, the story of Peter Pan. Now he's an adult, Peter Banning, played by Robin Williams, and he goes to England with his family to catch up with Grandma Wendy. Now, Peter Banning is a very workaholic kind of guy. He's very focused on his work, and his family's to the side. And to the point where there's tension between him and his wife. And now, when they're out for the evening, their children get kidnapped by Captain Hook. And now you got Robin Williams, who's playing Peter Banning, being told that he is, in fact, Peter Pan. Doesn't believe it. And then we got Tinkerbell come in. Tinkerbell tries to convince him, and then she just kind of kidnaps him, takes him to Neverland. And now this is where we got Peter Banning, as he tries to remember, or refuses to remember, he still needs to get his kids back. We get Captain Hook, Smee, and then there's some other images from like the original cartoon that are sprinkled in there. Of course, it's not really a secret. Of course, he's going to remember who he is. Movies do that. You know the outcome. So I think it'd be ridiculous to say this would be spoilering, but you know the outcome. And you know he's going to become Peter Pan again. And of course, Hook is going to try to manipulate his kids to be against him. And then the son that he drew further apart from before this, because it's missing games, baseball games, it's easier for Hook to manipulate him, whereas his daughter Maggie is more, refuses to go under Hook's wing. I really like this movie. I think I've liked this movie better over time. There was a period of time where I could not stand Julia Roberts' performance as Tinkerbell. And maybe it's not really the performance, maybe it's the portrayal of the character. But when you look at the whole movie in terms of like the Lost Boys design, she fits in with that. And I think it's more of a Sony movie. Clearly, they probably couldn't do the traditional Tinkerbell whereas Tinkerbell is a Disney property. So they kind of do their own thing with Tinkerbell here. And I've grown to accept that. It's fine. Her portrayal is fine. She does a good job, a very good job, especially considering that she is usually doing all this stuff solo, because a lot of her shots, when they're close up, they're by herself, obviously, because of her size, and then she's, they do the optical effect thing. John Williams' score for this movie is, this movie might not be in my top 10 films of all time, but in terms of the score that John Williams made for this movie, that the score would be in my top 10 scores of all time. The music in this thing is more than what it should be for this movie. It really is, but it's the perfect score for this film. Dustin Hoffman is perfect as Hook. There's no one else that could portray Hook better than what Dustin Hoffman did. And I'd have to watch this again. I don't know if I have it or not. But they made a Peter Pan movie from Disney. Disney made a live, I think it was Disney, made a live action Peter Pan. It might not even be Disney. And Jason Isaacs played Hook in that one too. And it was more of a traditional Peter Pan story. And I remember when I saw that movie, I think you could watch, this is where the unofficial sequels thing goes on. You could watch Peter Pan, that live action Peter Pan, and then you could also watch Hook, and they would work together as a prequel sequel thing. You just have some different actors, no big deal. But I think that would work. So Hook, I have a lot of memories of this movie as a kid. It's grown. It's gotten, to me, it gets better every time you watch it. I would highly recommend it if you're a fan of the Peter Pan stuff. Robin Williams. If you haven't seen this movie and you're a fan of Robin Williams, watch it. It's one of the underrated films of the Steven Spielberg filmography. It's a good movie for Steven Spielberg. He made this movie right before he did Jurassic Park, and after Jurassic Park, everything just went off from there for him. I mean, he started off with Jaws, but the movie was not well received when it came out, so there was kind of like this period where maybe people thought Steven was done. I was a kid at the time. I don't know if that's what the talk was, but when the movie came out, it wasn't very popular. But Hook, I would give Hook 4 stars out of 4. 4 out of 4. I think it's a perfect movie. I think I've rated it less based on Julia Roberts' performance, but that's not really fair for her. Like I said, I think she did good. The whole cast did good. It's a very epic film. So check out Steven Spielberg's Hook. And if memory serves me correctly, if you know what that Peter Pan movie I'm talking about is, it was live action, came out in 2005. Jason Isaacs in it, and if I got rid of that, I wish I didn't, but I'll have to check that one out too then. Until next time, this is Dave D's Random Watch Select.